Hey everyone, welcome to 10th Inning Talk. I'm your girl April, also known as All About April 3 on all social media platforms, and I'm here to deliver the latest and greatest in both collegiate and professional softball and baseball news. As you can see, we have a special guest today. But before we hop into the guest, I do want to give a shout out to my fellow brethren within the Black Baseball Mixtape. We have a lot of great content coming out. We actually just interviewed the new coach of the Indianapolis Clowns of Banana Ball, so make sure you check that out. Flobo has some great content on In the Booth with Flobo Boys. Cheats is always doing great things. So make sure you're checking him out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And Malik is doing some wonderful things on through the writing. So yes, check out blackbaseballmixtape.com to see some of the articles that he has. He's done the top 10 second baseman. He's going to be doing shortstops next. And we are also on Substack. So a lot of great things happening within the Black Baseball Mixtape community. But without further ado, let's hop into the 10th inning with the special guest, my guy, Troy. Hi.
What up, though? How you doing?
I'm doing well. So happy to have you on. So, first off, let's start off the hat. Tell us why you have the hat on. I know why you have the hat on, but tell everyone why you have the hat on.
Well, if the what up, though didn't give it away, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm a very loyal Tigers fan. Anything Detroit, I got a hat for it.
I love it. Now I'm a Tigers fan, just not that Tigers fan. But we support all things going on with Tigers around here. So yeah, that's really good to know. I actually met Troy through the Black Baseball mixtape. And
Yes.
I just thought that because of this, it would be great to have him on to discuss what he's doing within the baseball community, and which could give leverage to other people about the opportunities that actually exist out there for you. So I would have to know. Tell us, did you play college ball, and if so, where, and what was your experience like?
Oh man, that's a crazy story. So I'm from Detroit, and I played college ball in Michigan. I played for two NAIA schools. The first one I played for was Marygrove College. The typical small faith-based school. A few
Mm,
thousand people. We played in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. I was a part of the first baseball team that the school had ever had.
wow.
And I went straight there from high school. I was there as a freshman. It was intense. I was 17 when I started my school year, so I won't turn 18 till November. So a 17-year-old just out of high school, Troy, in the weight room and on the field with guys that are 19, 20. I had a couple like JUCO transfers, people that were in the military that came back. So it's like I'm dealing with people 25, 27, like trying to compete for a spot. So it was really intense and it really woke me up. Not that I was sleeping on how hard college baseball would be, but it was at a different level because our coach really pushed us being in shape and with trainers and the weight room and all that stuff. And I spent 3 years at Marygrove playing. And then unfortunately, our school went under. And the crazy part about that was I didn't find out until like 2 weeks before my last year at that school. So I literally had to transfer to a whole nother school 2 weeks before my last year. And then I transferred to, at the time, it was Rochester College. Now it's Rochester Christian University. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to go there and finish my collegiate career. I had a lot of teammates that kind of got the short end of the stick. They weren't able to move anywhere. They had to wait. But I was really blessed to go be able to play with them. They helped get me in. They got me housing, they made sure all my credits got in as many as they could, and I was able to graduate on time. And I finished my career there, had my best season yet at Rochester. And yeah, Rochester, appreciate you guys still to this day. I always go back and when I'm home, of course, to alumni games or any events we got going on. Shout out to Coach K over there. And yeah, that was my crazy college career.
That is, you look, that is definitely a crazy story because I'm listening to you like, okay, so he said it was crazy, maybe it wasn't. But to find out 2 weeks before you're literally going into your last year, and for those of you who don't know, like at that particular time, the money has already been dispersed a lot of the times. The housing has already been assigned. So the Lord really had his hand on you because for you to be able to get in, for them to be able to find everything that you need, and for you to have many of your credits transferred, that is just amazing. So, shout out to everybody who stepped in to be able to help you as well because that is such a tragedy that could have ended in a completely different way. But to see that you had that misfortune and for it to turn around into one of your greatest seasons, sometimes what ends up looking like a closed door is really an open one that you just have to be able to walk through. So I'm so happy that you were able to have a moment where yes it was down but you went right back up to the top.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to give up the chance that I had to keep playing. So, just trusting the process and just competing and trying to do everything you can, some will shake for you.
Yes, absolutely. Trust in the process. So, in trusting the process, what position do you actually play, and how did you come about playing this position?
So actually when I was a kid, I used to play third base and I used to pitch and the coach's son on my team, he usually played first base and like this freak accident. He like missed the ball and it hit him in the eye. And he was like out for a while and they were like, all right, Troy, you're big, go play first. And that's how I started playing first base. And then when I started playing travel ball, I kind of worked my way back to third. And then I was I had just started wearing glasses. I had the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like sports goggles, like spec for you guys that remember what those were like. And this kid hit a liner at me with a TPX Exogrid. I'll never forget. And it nicked the end of my glove and it hit me in the face and I broke my orbital bone. And then I went back to first base. And then I started picking up catching after that. So I was pitching, playing first, and catching is kind of where I've been around most of my career after travel ball.
That's amazing. Not the fact that you broke your orbital bone, but you've had quite a few positions, which are typically normal for people who play catcher, first, etc. But
Yeah.
what is it like for you playing behind the plate? Because I'm going to tell you, I watched Will Smith catch for 18 innings during the World Series. And I ain't got knees like Megan, but oh boy, really was behind that plate. And I don't know how he got back up the next day and did it. What is it like to be able to do something like that? Describe that moment for us.
Well, I don't got knees like Will's. If I can get through nine and I can walk without a limp, it was a good game. But no, 18 is absolutely insane. But those guys they train so hard and they have like the best trainers and staff and stuff to help keep them healthy. And I what the big thing is catching 9 innings isn't bad if they're not long innings. If you get a long
Hmm.
inning where you change the pitcher 3 times and there's 4 errors, then
Right.
it'll add up on you quick. It's really not many. How many innings is how long you got to stay in that squat, and
Mhm.
being able to get on one knee and stuff like that, it does help quite a bit. Like when I first started catching, like if you were on a knee, it was considered lazy. But like,
Right.
thank God that my coach in high school, especially where I caught a lot, he understood that I was a plus size catcher. And if I was going to get that strike call at the knees, I had to get a little lower. So it's not too bad, but catching is just as much mental as it is physical because well, they call the pitches with the pitch com and stuff, but like when you're in college or you're in high school, like you're probably calling the game. So you gotta think of the sequences, you gotta attack the batters, you gotta check the runners, you gotta man the defense, you gotta tell people to slide over and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely has a big mental side to it as well, especially at the lower levels.
And do you think, like, because you are a black catcher, and we've recently seen the success of Drake Baldwin, who was the NL Rookie of the Year, but do you think the demand of being a catcher is why some people, especially maybe black athletes, shy away from the position?
It's a tough question. It is there is a lot of demand, but like catching's gotta be something that you want to do. If it's not something that you really want to do, you're not going to succeed at it because it takes a special amount of hard work and discipline and thinking of the game that it can be a lot. And I feel like that's why people don't put a lot of pressure on catchers to be fast or to hit because all the stuff that they have to do, if they can do that well, then you can kind of relax on the rest of it. But I feel like there's also not a lot of people that like give that example. Like I'm from Detroit. I know a bunch of black catchers,
Mm-hmm.
but everyone isn't from a place where a bunch of black people play baseball. So I was able to get coaching and training and, shown how to do it correctly so I don't get hurt and how to think the game and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people don't have that kind of access with people they trust to show them how to catch because like when you're everyone's black on one baseball team, somebody got to be the catcher. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But a lot of black athletes, they're fast or they tall or they throw
Mm-hmm.
hard. They want to put them in other positions, which is
Right.
okay. But I definitely think that the demand for catchers, like people need catchers.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why I started catching because every team I went on, they always had one, but you need two, especially at the lower levels. Like when I was a freshman in high school, the varsity coach saw that I was a catcher and his eyes lit up. He was like, "Thank God, I need another catcher." So playing catcher helped get me on varsity like faster, like on weekend series, like non-league games. I was in the bullpen or I would catch an inning or two. Like that really helped me get my foot in the door. And with playing overseas, being a catcher, that's really big. Teams are always looking for pitchers and catchers. So it just opened up a lot of opportunities. And it's something I like to do. I like to think the game and be in control. So I really enjoy it.
I love that. And I also love that you talked about how much the catcher is almost like the captain of the infield. Like he is the one, or she is the one who is really seeing the entire infield. And so you have to give the perspective, you're making the calls, you're doing the shifts and so forth. And I think a lot of people miss that side of the catcher. You're not just behind the plate catching the ball and, trying to throw someone out at second, third, first, or what have you. You have a clear field or a clear view of everything that's happening. So, a very, very important part of it. And I also believe that that may be why some people were just hard about the fact that Cal Riley deserved the MVP and why he was up there because of the demand of the position on the body and what he was able to still do offensively.
Yeah, because like I said, most people, if you're a catcher, that's a good catcher that can hit, that's like very uncommon. You know what I'm saying? Like if you play infield or outfield, you have to be able to hit. You
Right.
have to, but I can name a bunch of catchers that throw out a bunch of runners that got under 250 average in the major leagues that have been playing for
Right.
years. But if you can do both, if you have the energy to do both, especially hit extra base hits or hit for power, that's definitely somebody that should be an MVP in my book.
But shout out to Will Smith because you know I'm a Dodger fan, so I gotta shout out my boy because he definitely was over the 250 mark this year, and yeah, he definitely played his role. So, with you being a catcher, what is it like for you playing overseas? Let's start off with that. How is it like for you playing as a catcher overseas? Is there a difference between your expectations abroad versus here within the United States?
Oh yes, it's very different in terms of Europe because I'm in Australia right now. Baseball there is really grassroots, especially in smaller countries. So a bunch of people are volunteers. You know, the umpires aren't getting paid big bucks. The person keeping score is somebody's mom. You know, it's very grassroots, but at the same time, the people that are there, they take it seriously and they want to be their best and be competitive, especially for all the people that take the time out to support them. So, with all that being said, the strike zone isn't always the best, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big catcher, and sometimes the umpires have trouble seeing the strike zone. Like if I call a fastball up and in, I had a umpire just go, "Hey, just so you know, I can't see when you stand up, so just know that when you call that inside fastball, that I can't see." And I'm like, just make sure you look for the swing because that's where the ball's going. Um, but little things like that, sometimes the strike zone's inconsistent, but that's everywhere, to be honest.
Right.
It might be a little more drastic overseas because the you don't always get an experienced official, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just part of the game. I think that's the biggest thing. Usually when the other team sees that not only I'm a huge catcher and that I'm American, they get real selective on when they want to steal, which is fair. If you're an import player, then everybody in the whole country knows that you're probably a plus player that's going to be really good. So, and that's why they bring you over. Other than that, it's been a pretty good experience. I've learned a lot, and it's definitely challenged me to be more creative with my pitch sequencing and how to attack batters because, everyone's different. And playing overseas, you see styles of baseballs you don't normally see, like
Mm-hmm.
some of these clubs and some of these players have literally had to like make up their own baseball style and technique and stuff because they don't have access to a bunch of coaches like we do. Like they can't go to the batting cage and pay $45 and have the local ex-pro player teach them how to hit. Like they're on YouTube, they're trying to figure it out. So everyone's swing isn't the same. A lot of people like to pull the ball over in Europe, so you got to attack it differently than you would back at home.
That's some great info to know, especially for people who want to or are considering this. But for those who are like, what do you mean overseas baseball? How did you find out that this actually existed?
So again, shout out to Rochester. My boy Caleb, he is the one that put me on to baseballjobsoverseas.com. He had got signed to go play in Sweden, and I'm like, How?" Like I always knew that they had baseball in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
just uh, from, I used to visit Germany when I had family that lived over there. So I know that they played, but I didn't realize that they were signing people to come over there and play until he told me about baseball jobs overseas. So I went on there. I made a profile and I started getting offers from teams in Australia, and then I played in Australia, and then I worked my way over to Europe. So that's how I found out about overseas baseball. Their website's pretty good. They have um, teams from all over the world, places that I didn't know had baseball, and it's not as easy to look up. teams in other countries as you may see or may
Mhm.
think because things are different languages. You
Right.
don't know the places, the regions, the name of the leagues and stuff because everybody puts their own spin on the style of baseball and how they set their leagues up and things like that. So this website makes it really easy. I'm actually doing a series on how to play baseball overseas and the steps you need to take to see if it's for you, to see what it's like and what you need to do to be able to make yourself marketable so you can try to get signed because I think a lot of people don't know about it, obviously, and I'm trying to bring more
Mhm.
awareness to it. And there's a lot of opportunity in there. There's a lot of guys that go play college and then try to go play indie ball or they play affiliate ball and it doesn't work out. And they're just like,
Mhm.
either they looking for somewhere competitive to play or they're looking for somewhere to play where it like matters.
Right.
And Europe is the place for that. Overseas ball is the place for that. These clubs are looking to win, to get better, and it gives people opportunity to not only keep playing, but more opportunities to coach and to get to travel and see the world and see different brands of baseball that you wouldn't see if you stayed at home.
Yes, and that's important too because we already see this existing within other sports. So we
Oh yeah.
see it with basketball for both men and women. We see it with soccer. So to know that this actually exists for us within baseball, it's just it's amazing that an opportunity exists. But I love the fact that you are doing a series. He has his own YouTube channel, y'all. We're gonna plug it at the end. But he has his own YouTube channel where he's able to share these things so that you are aware of what it takes for you to be able to make it overseas if this is something that you choose to do. Now, I will say, as far as language, is there a barrier in some of the places? Have you learned other languages, or has that been a challenge for you?
Um, the short answer is not really. A lot of people that play baseball speak pretty good English in some languages. There's no words for baseball phrases, so you kind of have to learn English. Um, there's no word for strike or for double play and stuff like that. So people kind of learn English. From my experience, most of the teams or most of the players on the teams that I've played with have spoken English. A lot of people in Europe, they learn English like in school.
Yes, they do.
Like I think pretty much everybody on my team that I played with in the Netherlands spoke English.
Mhm.
When I played in Germany, there was a couple people where their English wasn't the strongest, but it was good enough for us to communicate. When I went to Germany, I did pick up some German just for, everyday life purposes because a lot of younger people speak English in Germany, but like when you talk to somebody that's like 45 and up, is it could go either way.
Yeah.
So needed to learn a little bit of German to order at the bakery and stuff like that.
So, with you playing overseas, was it hard for you to be able to adjust? Because, I mean, some people traveling, like, it's great, but they also get homesick. So, what is it like for you to be able to travel while also doing something that you enjoy?
I was really lucky because I kind of got broken into it, kind of just like baseball, and we travel like every weekend. I'm
Mm,
away from my family, or like if I'm at school, I'm at school all week, practicing and training, and I don't get to go home. Or when we go on like long trips for spring break and stuff like that, I've kind of gotten used to that. So it wasn't too bad. And then, like I said, I had family overseas, so I kind of got to see what it's like navigating and like living in Europe a little bit. So it wasn't too big of a culture shock, but the season's really long. Like I'm gone for like 5, 6 months at a time. So
wow.
especially the first time I went to Australia, I was like 3 or 4 months in, and I was just remember feeling like weird, and it was just like why do I feel like this? I was calling my friends back home and they're like, you're probably homesick. You've been gone for 4 months for the first time ever. So just little things like that will catch up with you and it's good to notice that. But when you're away, they give you like accommodations, like you have a host family or they get you an apartment. So you
Okay.
have your own space where you can, unwind and relax. It's not like when you're traveling where you bounce into hotel and
Right.
stuff like that every day. So it's not quite that bad. But, definitely the biggest things that helped me was having a routine, having set aside time for you to talk to your friends and family back home, and trying to find stuff that you would do at home where you're at. So I would go to like the beach, or I'll go ride my bike, or I would go listen to DJ sets and things like that. Stuff that I would do at home to help me not feel as homesick.
Mhm.
So yeah, it definitely can be hard at times, but having those tools definitely help me get through it when the rough patch comes.
It's good. I love the fact that you were able to find some ways to be able to cope, but to also not just enjoy playing baseball, but to enjoy the journey while you
Yeah.
are overseas. Because that part is important too. It's a learning it's a lesson
Oh
while
yeah.
you are over there. So, with you being over there, I have to ask you. Where have you played? Where are your top three places that you played overseas?
Like countries.
Yeah.
Okay. That's tough because along with like playing for teams and leagues, I've also gotten to play in some tournaments in different countries as well, which makes the
Okay.
list even bigger, which makes the list even harder. But top three,
We
I
can do
really
top
love
five.
top five. Okay, no particular order
Okay.
because we'd be here all day. Right now, I'm in Australia right now. I really like Australia. This is my second time being here. I started my career off in Perth, Western Australia. I love Perth. The beaches there are really beautiful. The people are nice. The baseball is pretty good. The pitching was very good. It was really solid. I really enjoyed playing there. The ball was good, and now I'm back and I'm in Melbourne right now, and the same thing. Pitching's good. Uh, Beaches aren't as nice in Melbourne, at least around the city. That's probably the biggest thing about Perth. Like you can go downtown and then drive like 20 minutes and you're at a pretty good beach. But Melbourne has its own vibe. I hear house music everywhere, and again, fields are really good. Like the team I'm playing for now, shout out to the Preston Pirates. Like we have an all turf field. It's like a couple years old. A lot of the fields either have turf, and they just have really nice facilities, covered batting cages and all that stuff. So it's really nice. Also in my top five, I got to play in the Japan Winter League a couple years ago.
Ooh.
So I spent a month playing in Okinawa, and that was a crazy experience because, Japan's top sport is baseball. So like
Right.
everywhere you go, Otani's on the wall. Like when you go to Japan, I see Otani with brand deals that I didn't even know he had. Like he got a watch deal, he got a green tea deal. Like he's everywhere. Like he's the president. And but the baseball there is crazy. The baseball stores there were just like imagine like the baseball section in Dick's Sporting Goods, but that's the only thing in the whole sporting store.
Wow.
It absolutely insane. And just, being able to play against Japanese players and players from all over, there were players from Europe, from South America, everyone was in that league. So that was a really cool experience. It's really nice to play there, really nice facilities. Um, One of the things that, as a member of baseball jobs overseas, the Globetrotters, they put together a team to play in some tournaments. And one of the biggest ones that I love so much is called Pfingsten Ball. And it's in Austria. And they hold this baseball, softball slash music festival tournament. And they have it every year. And every year I love going there for the tournament and to play, and teams from all over Europe, all over the world come. The teams from Canada come, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Hungary, everywhere come and play in this tournament. So Austria is another one of my favorite places to play. And then another tournament that we got to play in is called Prague Baseball Week, which is hosted by the Czech national team. And with BBJO, I've got to go play in Prague Baseball Week with them a couple of times and play at the beautiful facilities that they have in Prague. You know, Eagles and Tempo are two of the big clubs in Prague that have really nice facilities, and I got to play there and play against other national teams and the Czech national team. You know how famous they are right now.
Mhm.
So those are some of my favorite spots I've gotten to play at overseas.
I love it. I love it. And I also love the diversity of where you played because I would have never thought to include Austria. Maybe yes, the Czech Republic, but or Czechia, but that's pretty cool that Austria has that level there. And I didn't even know Australia had multiple places where you could go to be able to
Oh
play.
yeah.
So for people out there who are interested and want the opportunity, it exists for you. So I feel like I'm learning so much as well about this experience, not just for you, but I'm sure for other people. Being that you are overseas, how do the seasons coincide with where we are? Are you overseas for a certain period of time?
Yeah, so usually when you sign with the team, they give you like how long their season is and how long you will be there. So the European season usually coincides with the season in America. It's like early spring, like March, April till about September, October. Um, and then in Australia, it's kind of the opposite. They start like late September, early October and go till about March. So what a lot of guys do, they call it chasing summer. They'll play in Europe. Then when it gets cold, we come down to Australia and then play through the American winter and then go back to Europe and just go back and forth. And you get to play year round if you can pull it off.
I love that, especially because you coming from Detroit, I know you're probably prepared for some of the winter
Yeah.
ball, but to know that you literally can choose where you're playing based on the temperature, that makes this even more attractive to be able to do.
Yeah,
So,
it's tough sitting there in Detroit when it's snow up to your knee waiting for opening day, opposed to, you know, instead of sitting there waiting around to go play in Europe when it gets warm, you can go in Australia, you can keep playing, keep training, be able to go outside and do all that stuff. And then when it's time to go back and play in Europe, you know, you're fresh. So yeah, it's a good deal.
now for you individually, what is the biggest attribute that you have to offer as a player or a teammate?
Oh man. Like I've been at this for so long that I've learned so much and I've had to coach different types of people. Like I've had to coach German kids that don't speak English yet. I've had to coach people that have been playing baseball longer than I've been alive. So I think the biggest attribute I have is just being able to be flexible and
Mm.
to be able to adjust to whatever. Because, you know, baseball's already a game of adjustments, but when you've played in all these countries with all these different people, with all these different languages, it's kind of hard to find something that's gonna throw you off or anything that you haven't had to overcome before. So just having that experience and being able to help my teammates and my players when they're having trouble, sometimes it kind of surprises them. I'm like, oh, I've seen that before. You got to do this, and they'll fix it. And they'll be like, what? And then they'll do it, and they're like, oh. Thanks. How did you? I'm like, I've been there. I've seen it before. You know, I've either myself or I've seen somebody else that I've had to help work through that. So just being able to have that experience and that versatility, that's been huge.
Yeah, and that's also just a great character trait to have in life to be adaptable to situations that arise, especially you doing this overseas. So it's not just you being adaptable within the US, you're able to be adaptable overseas. Love that. So we're gonna hop into the last portion of this where I like to ask guests individual questions so that we can learn a little bit more about you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, is about to take place in March, and I gotta know, who do you have taking it all?
Why would you put me on a spot like that? You know how many great teams are in this
I
WBC?
know, I know. Well, let's start here. Who do you have coming out of Pool D? Pool D is in Miami, Venezuela, I think Nicaragua, maybe Israel, Dominican Republic, and they had the big, as they call it, upset in 2023. Who do you have coming out of that pool?
That's a tough pull. I think Venezuela's going to get out of there this time, though.
They got out of it last time. They did. I do
I
too. I know everybody is like Dominican Republic, but I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. Last time they said all that and it did not show up. But also for those of you who do not remember, it was Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela in that pool, and they were calling it the pool of death. So it was just fantastic baseball, but oh my gosh, why would you put all three of them? So this year, Puerto Rico is hosting, and they are not in the same pool as them. But do you think Japan, the number one rated overall team, will take it once again?
I don't know. I don't know if Japan's gonna be able to do it again. Do they have the ability to? Absolutely, but I don't know. Baseball is just funny like that. Like once you win, it's hard to do it again, especially like everybody's been able to
Mm-hmm.
see and highlight these players. They know more about them now. More of those guys are playing in the MLB now too as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I think that other countries would have a little more preparation when they have to face Japan. So I think that is really anyone's ball game, but I'm thinking that somebody else is going to take the crown this year. I just got a feeling.
Go USA. But yes, we just gonna roll with them. All right, next question. What is your walk-up song? If you have a walk-up song, what is your favorite walk-up song to use?
That's tough. That's so tough. I would have to say, and this is a song that probably only people in Detroit know. It's called The Baddest by Big Sean. He has an album called Detroit 2, and he mixes one of my favorite ghetto tech songs into a rap song, and it just gets me going. Like I remember the first time I heard it when the album came out. It's like 12:30 in the morning. I heard that beat, I literally jumped out of my bed. So yeah, that would be the walk-up song.
Okay. Next question. Who is your favorite player, living or who has passed away?
That's another tough one, but I'm a loyal Tiger. My boy Miguel Cabrera is just
That's a good one.
amazing to watch. Like when I was like playing in high school and really growing as a baseball player is when him and the Tigers were making their run. He had, his triple crown season and
Hmm.
just watching him play and hit was just amazing.
That's a really good one. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite baseball movie?
You asking some great questions, April. Man.
Thank you, thank you.
That's tough, but I'm gonna have to go with the kid in me and go with the OG Sandlot.
I love it. I love it. We were just talking about this on Monday night on the Black Baseball mixtape, and yes, you. How can you not love The Sandlot? It's really
Yeah,
just that amazing.
it's my favorite, man. It's my favorite. I could watch that anytime.
Yes, the sayings, the characters, just peak cinema. All right, a couple more questions. So, besides baseball, softball, what is your your next favorite sport?
That's oh man. So along with baseball, I grew up playing basketball in the winter. So I would have to say basketball is
Okay.
my second favorite.
I mean, you're tall. How tall are you? Because you alluded to this quite a bit. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Okay, yeah. So basketball would be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Okay, since you've played for a while, now it could be applicable to you or to another player. What is your favorite baseball moment?
My favorite baseball moment. I would have to say when the first year that I played in Europe, I was playing in Germany, and a lot of guys they start their careers off in Europe and end up coming to Australia. I kind of started the other way around because I found out about baseball jobs overseas
Mm.
right when the European season was starting, so it was too late to get signed. So the first year I finally made it over there. We're playing in Prague Baseball Week, and this was the second tournament that I had done with baseball jobs overseas, and I got to meet all these amazing import players from all over the world, from US, from Canada, from wherever, and we were playing this in the Prague Baseball Week, and the energy that these guys had that I had just met for the first time was just absolutely insane. And we were playing like you couldn't we felt unstoppable. Like we were beating everybody, like no matter who was pitching, who was hitting, everyone was just ready to play and perform. And we got all the way to the final and we had to play the Spanish national team in the final and it rained all day and we ended up not starting the games like 9 o'clock at night. So it's like the ninth inning, we're up by a couple of runs and we're like bases, I think it was runners on first and second. It's like two outs, and we're sitting there like outs away or moments away from winning. And the pitcher had walked a guy, and we're sitting there like, oh, and I was like, I was bullpen catching that game, and Jimmy Jensen grabbed me and was like, let's go to the pen right now. And I started warming him up just in case he has to go in. While he's warming up, he gets the pitcher gets the final out, and we all jump over the fence and run onto the field and just screaming and jumping and holding the trophy up in the air. That was one of my favorite baseball moments.
That is amazing, especially with all the rain and for
Oh
y'all to
yeah,
still be in the moment to get the victory is amazing. Because rain delays can completely change the momentum of a
oh
game.
yeah, oh yeah. We were at the field all day. The game was supposed to start at like 4, and we didn't end up starting till like 9.
Oh Lord.
So yeah. But the energy was still there until the wee hours of the night. I think we got done. The game was like midnight, 11:30 midnight.
Yeah, but
So
that's a great way. I mean, I don't mind being at the ballpark that long if that means that I get a
no,
victory out of it.
exactly.
What a great way to be able to end this particular segment, Troy. Thank you so much for joining the 10th inning and sharing your journey and exactly what it means to be a player overseas and how others can do it. But I also want you to be able to share exactly where people can find you on social media.
So if you look up Troy Justice or Justice underscore imported, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My series is going on right now. And if you want help with your overseas baseball journey, if you're interested, please shoot me a comment, shoot me a DM, and watch my videos. It really explains what you need to do in the process. And if you do sign up with baseball jobs overseas, put in the code imported at checkout. When you get your subscription, I'll hop on a Zoom call with you and help you with anything that you need to know regarding playing overseas.
That's amazing. I love it. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for
So,
having me. I appreciate it.
of course. And for everyone else, make sure you are always checking me out, 10th Inning Talk, on all social media platforms, and also all about April 3. Make sure you're checking out Troy. I am going to collaborate with him on YouTube with this video. So you'll be able to have access to him. And also make sure you are checking out all things Black Baseball Mixtape. That includes the brand new Substack, the articles online, In the Booth with Lobo Boys, me, 10th Inning Talk, and also my guy Cheats on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And as a reminder, it's always a great day to be a baseball and a softball fan. Bye, y'all.